Hello there, Nick Boone with Balancing the Boons. It's gonna be my first business vlog for you guys. Gonna talk to you about investing. Super exciting, I know. So this video is really intended for people that don't quite have an investment yet or don't really have a strategy or plan. Whatever the stance may be, this is for those people that really want to get into real estate but don't really know some of the pros and cons or tips. So I'm gonna kind of share some of those with you. So I'm actually a real estate broker in California. My advice is definitely gonna be biased towards investing in real estate, obviously. But along with that, I own several personal rentals, I've flipped houses, and we manage about 500 rentals for other owners throughout our county. So I'm pretty well versed in real estate, from buying, selling, renting, kind of everywhere in between. So I hope you guys grab some of this information and it's really useful for you. So one of the greatest things about investing into real estate, and there's thousands of avenues that you can invest in and out of real estate, but one of my favorite things is compound interest and passive income. Passive income is pretty self-explanatory. It's basically mailbox money. So when you have a rental and your rent's being paid on time, hopefully that's the case, then you get a check delivered to you each month without having to really do much. Phenomenal, I love it. It's the greatest thing in the world. The other thing is the compound interest. So what that means in a simplified way is when you start using the money, the mailbox money that you're getting towards another investment, that interest compounds and you're making more and more off that first investment. That's kind of a general overview. Hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, comment below and I can definitely explain it more. So again, this is gonna be tips for those that don't have their first rental. My very first and most important tip is make a plan. You can always browse Zillow, talk to realtors, look online, get some prices, get some comparable rents. You can kind of gather what you could pay for it and what you could rent it out for, what your mortgage would be. All of that stuff is very easily done online nowadays. That's a great way to start. So whether it's $1 per month that you want to net, whether it's a return on your investment and a percentage that you want to net, a few people do different ways. So there's not a right or a wrong way, but whatever way gets you to the number of your goal. But you got to have a goal to get there first. So my recommendation is start with a plan, start with a goal. The second thing that you're gonna do is find a system to track your expenses, your income, dates for your rental, so when they moved in, when their lease expires, when you purchased the home, all of that stuff needs to be in one centralized location. There's software that does it, Buildium, Appfolio, I know there's some of those for property management. Excel, you could even use Excel or a document inside of your computer. All of those places aren't wrong, but the more rentals you get, the more you're gonna want a software that does that for you. The other thing that I would recommend is opening a new bank account. A step farther would be opening a bank account in a bank that you don't personally bank with. Because if those funds are coming to you on a monthly basis, even if it's just one rental, it's very easy to just transfer to your personal if you're short that month, or if you wanna buy something new, you can just transfer that right in. If it's very difficult and you have to write a check, or it makes it kind of convoluted to move money from here to there, and then you're like, well, you know what, I don't even need it that bad, that kind of deters you from spending your passive income. The last couple things you want to think about is how you're going to purchase this home. So there's the typical 20% down way, which is difficult for some people to start with. The other way is to buy a home to live in for a few years with 0 to 5% down, rent that out when you buy your next home. So those options are definitely available. It's a cheaper way to build your portfolio for you, and you don't have to come up with tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars on your first investment. You're also gonna have to decide if you wanna use a property manager or not. I am a property manager, I'm gonna be a little bit biased. But again, if it's your first rental and it's your only one and you feel like you can really grasp the concept, give it a whack. I mean, it's not brain surgery. I think a lot of people can do it on their own. Once you get to 3 to 5 rentals, or you have some problems with tenants, or you don't live in the same town as your rental, that's when I would really recommend a property manager. But if you have one property, a property manager, software, all that stuff that goes with it is gonna eat into your bottom line. So be really self-conscious about that bottom line. Okay guys, now I'm gonna go over the pros of owning a rental in real estate. Again, tons of avenues to invest in. I firmly believe in real estate. I think my favorite pro is it's a tangible asset. What that means is if I own a rental house, I can go touch that house. I can go drive by it, I can look at it, I can feel it, I can take pictures of it. I can physically hold that asset. With stocks or anything like that, it's not really tangible. You can look at your bank account and it grows, and that's fantastic, but it's not tangible. You can't go touch your bank account with whatever bank you're using. And one of the easiest things about owning a rental is the passive income, that mailbox money that we talked about earlier. Phenomenal, I love it. Every single month with good tenants, you can rely on that check to come to your mail without really even talking to them. It's amazing. You're also getting a check every month, obviously in an ideal situation, so it's gonna be a monthly return on your investment. You don't have to wait every quarter, you don't have to go annually. Every single month, you should get that money coming back to your investment. It is a really long-term investment, so short-term is not gonna be a get-rich-quick scheme. That means that you're definitely gonna have appreciation if you hold on to the house. Now that may not be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, but if you hold on to this house for 30 years, housing prices are definitely gonna be more expensive than they are today. So you're definitely gonna have that appreciation. When you own it free and clear, that's gonna be the dream. And the last thing, just kind of talking about the passive and the long term and all of this stuff, you could pass this to your children if the worst happens. So if you croak, then you're gonna be able to give that to your kids. So they could have a free and clear house, paid off, making money every single month. You may not want to give that to your kids, but it's something that you can keep in your generations for a lifetime. A lot of people in Europe will keep houses and never sell them, and they pass it from generation to generation. Kind of a new trend in America, but it's definitely starting to take hold. All right, guys, tons of pros. Obviously, you would expect that from a real estate broker. I really believe in real estate. It's what I've dedicated my life to. But now I'm gonna go over some of the cons. The cons can be pretty costly and pretty scary. So I'm gonna go over some of the real life stories that I've had, and maybe they help you decide on one way or another. So the first one, obviously, if you're watching this and you live in California, is tenants, tenant rights, evictions, that whole broad category. We've had some of the worst evictions, we've had some of the worst tenants, but more times than not, we have a really good track record of getting a good tenant in. So you can have those terrible experiences that you see on TV where they thrash your house, you have to evict them, you're going months without payment. That's where saving money and really expecting stuff to go wrong helps your investment. Because if you can weather the hard days, the easy days are much, much nicer for you. The other negative is that it is costly. Even if you're doing 5% down, 5% of a $300,000 house is $15,000. So it's not a small investment, even if you're going on the cheaper route of getting into this house. And you can't liquidate your money quickly. With a stock or with something like that, you have cash, you can sell it, get your money now, buy that boat that you want. With a house, you have the escrow process, you have days on market, you have realtors involved, you have a buyer involved. I mean, it's a lengthy, long, emotional process to get this property resold, and it doesn't just happen in a week or two. Okay, so there's the list. I think the one thing that I want to touch on a little bit more is the emotional side. The numbers you can calculate, you can figure out, you can go online, that's all easily figured out. The emotional side of this is a lot more difficult than most people think. So if you purchase a home, live in it, and then decide to turn it into a rental, you gotta be prepared for that tenant to not appreciate what you've done for that house. So if your child put their handprints in the concrete and you did all this nice stuff, and this is where, you know, your child crawled for the first time, or this is where you did that, that is a really, really difficult emotional roller coaster to get over. So that's one of the things that most people underestimate in this process. And even personally, on my personal rentals, I hound my staff and I'm like, it's been 3 days, why don't we have a tenant in the property yet? While simultaneously getting a call from a client that says, hey, my property's been on the market for 4 days, why don't we have a tenant? I have to calm them down, and then I realize I have to calm myself down. So it's not easily done, even in the business as a professional. My emotions are still caught up in personal, properties and rentals, and it's very, very tough to do. So I will say that's the one big takeaway. If you take nothing else, prepare for an emotional roller coaster, because it will be one. All right, guys, that's the spiel. You kind of heard everything I had to say, the ups, the downs, the tips. So if any of this has worked for you, or if you still have questions, feel free to reach out to me. If you bought a rental and some of this has helped you, or you want to add some other information that might be helpful for others, definitely feel free. You can comment below. You can email us at balancingtheboons.com. Love to hear back from you guys. Thank you.